Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across Syria about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by the awesome Omar Abbas. Hi Omar.
Hey Sarah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to have you on the show. So guys, I invited Omar on the
Okay.
show today because he is somebody very important that you all need to hear about right now. He is the co-founder and CEO of BurjX, which is a really cool crypto trading platform regulated by ADGM and also helping redefine how we trade digital assets and custody in the Middle East. Please, Omar, tell me your story and what got you into the whole crypto industry.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sarah. BurjX, as you mentioned, we're a crypto trading platform and custodian based out of ADGM, Abu Dhabi Global Market. And we're globally headquartered, regulated, and operational here in the UAE. But prior to this, I was co-founder of NDAX, which is National Digital Asset Exchange. It's now Canada's leading crypto trading platform and exchange. I was there to help build it from the ground up with my co-founder Bilal, and it was, obviously the most incredible journey that I've been through in my entire life. But of course, at some point started looking at this region, the UAE specifically, and at that time I saw a major gap where there was no category leader for the UAE. Everything from infrastructure to trust to kind of building a world-class product like we built in Canada, that the UAE deserved. I just felt that that simply didn't exist yet. So I made the leap here to focus on building, the next category leader for crypto in the MENA region. I sold my stake in Endax. I sold my house. I uprooted my wife and kids, and I moved to the UAE to build BurjX from scratch. And at that time that we moved here, we still didn't have any regulatory license in our hand. Didn't have any connections here. It was just purely, conviction that this region deserved. It deserved something better. It deserved its own category leader, and ultimately, I wanted to build it.
That is really awesome. The fact that you went from quite literally one side of the world to the other, bringing your whole family here because you saw the vision of the Middle East and where it was going in terms of like the crypto industry. I can imagine there were many challenges that came with that. So what can you tell me about the challenges and how did you overcome them?
I'd say that for challenges, there was a lot. Of course, the hardest was obviously the regulatory hurdle was by far the hardest. Building up the technology, having to source a team in a region that I had no connections in. Those are all, extremely challenging. But I'd say the biggest one was just, I think any entrepreneur would tell you this, that making a personal bet on yourself. So, being able to sell your house, moving your family with four kids, leaving a company that you helped build, that's, a successful one, and selling your stake in that for something that you have even more passion for. Um, every single one of those issues kind of, on a bad day, all those will hit you differently. And there's moments where you think, did I just blow up my family stability for this?
Mm.
Especially, given the circumstances that we're at today, a startup competing with global competition, it doesn't get any easier. And I think the way I've just really navigated that kind of turbulence is just going back to, the why that we've started this. And you have to remind yourself you're not here chasing the money. You're genuinely believing in the region, and you're genuinely believing that myself can build the category leader for this space. And Dubai, Abu Dhabi, being the most important financial and crypto hub in the world. I think that BurjX just needs to exist, and having that kind of purpose, that's been my anchor really.
I love that. And you touched on a really important point of kind of times of uncertainty as well, especially in the UAE right now. Obviously, we've stayed resilient and we've stayed strong, but obviously that doesn't mean that it hasn't come with its own kind of challenges. What can you tell me about kind of the kind of crypto kind of industry in the UAE and or in general in times of uncertainty and how Borj X has contributed or helped to resolve that?
I think again, it just goes back to the same point, betting on yourself and knowing that there's always going to be times of uncertainty, whether there are things that are out of your hand, macro conditions like what we're facing today, or just you're waking up every day and not knowing what you're going to be hit with. For us, just watching BurjX's team grow, watching our clients trust us with their assets. And regardless of where we're at today with the market conditions, like the UAE ecosystem has constantly been maturing, and all these things kind of validate the bet that we've made every day.
I really appreciate kind of how candid you're being as well. You're not sugarcoating it, saying, no, everything's fine, we're okay, whatever. You're speaking the truth based on obviously your international experience, as somebody who has experience in this industry worldwide, and also somebody that has taken a bet on yourself as well as the country. Was there any kind of moment or experience that you feel made a true impact on you during kind of this whole journey?
Yeah, honestly, I thought the biggest, impact would be, getting. I was just wishing to get in principle approval by ADGM, let alone final approval, because it's literally the toughest financial license you can get globally. So getting this license was a big thing for me and the team. But actually, I'd say the biggest impact was just the actual move to Dubai itself, move to the UAE. Back in Canada, life is, full of social obligations. I grew up, I born and raised my whole life in Canada. I'm from a city called Calgary. And so I have a ton of cousins, friends, relationships that I have around me all the time, mom, dad, siblings, etc. And so those social obligations are always around you constantly. And so it's that kind of that busyness that sometimes feels productive, but it isn't. But when I landed in Dubai, fresh start, something I never thought I'd ever do, with my kids and my wife, my life like completely got organized on its own, and it kind of focused on four core tenets: my family, of course, my faith, my business, and my health. Those are the four core tenets that I revolve around all the time. So, I'm a practicing Muslim. Living here has really allowed me to devote more time to my
Of course,
core
yeah.
principles of my faith, and being more present with my wife and kids than I've ever been.
Especially like in the year of family, that's such an important point. Like the UAE does so much to bring families together and the community together, especially like right now. I mean, whether or not we're in times of uncertainty, there's always been family at the core of Arab culture, Emirati culture, kind of UAE culture. And what is your favorite thing about what you do, Ahmad? Aside from the kind of obviously the operational stuff and all the long-term stuff you oversee, what is your favorite thing about what you do?
That's a good question. I I don't have like a straight answer. I think just being able to do something that only I am responsible for, and if it screws up, it's on myself. There's no one. I have no plan B. And I love that. I love that kind of craziness of every single day that I have to go into every day, knowing that I bet it on myself, and my family is relying on me to deliver. Because the bad days are going to come no matter what. But and people, I've learned that the people closest to me, people who you grew up with will even doubt you, will kind of question what you're doing. But if you've truly done the work and you understand what you're doing and what you're building, then that faith, that clarity becomes unshakable. And that's the favorite part of doing what I'm doing.
Very cool. And where do you see BurjX going next? What's the future for the company here?
BurjX is right now we're focused on being the category leader for the UAE and for the MENA region. What that means is we're focused on being the globally headquartered and UAE regulated platform, focused on the UAE and building a platform that is truly the category leader for UAE. You've got exchanges that have expanded out here, that have dipped their toes in the UAE because they know how much of a critical market this is for crypto. What we've decided to do is, rather than expanding a product out to the UAE like others have done, we decided that we're going to build our roots here in Abu Dhabi, by the global, the world's leading financial regulator, ADGM, and just focus on being dominant in this region specifically. We're not hell bent on going global per se right away. We want to do extremely well within our borders.
I appreciate how focused you are on that. The fact that you appreciate quality over quantity. It's not about expanding to 100 different markets, but doing the very best that you can and providing that kind of high quality service for the markets where you are. And we've talked a little bit about this already, but my final question for you today, Omar. We've talked about kind of resilience, the importance of betting on yourself, and and the importance of being accountable for what you're doing when you go in and being responsible for your decisions that you make for your company. Do you have any other final message you want to leave for listeners today?
Again, it just all I can say is, you have to really believe in yourself. It's cliche. We always hear it when we're kids, when we're growing up, that they tell you you can do anything that you want to do. You don't really realize that until you're older and more mature. You've been through a lot of turbulence in your life, and there's signs out there that'll tell you like you're on the right track. God's with you if you're focused on your faith, whatever it is that you believe in, your health, mental clarity. Um, Health, family, and faith are kind of the key tenets, and you're hell bent on being an ambitious person and working for yourself. You could do anything that you put your mind to at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for your time today, Omar. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Bye.